I tried to warn gold bugs that this was likely to happen. So, as many of you know or have seen, the gold analysts, they're perpetually and always predicting to the moon. When gold rallied right here along with the dollar, the the calls for gold to the moon became really loud. But I tried to warn people that the intermediate cycle was getting late. We were running out of time. We really needed this first daily cycle right here, needed to come up and test this previous intermediate high. Of course, it never even got close to that. Couldn't get through this resistance at about 1335. The second daily cycle, the one we're in right now, again, it came up short of uh, making a higher high here. And I've been warning people for a couple of weeks that gold was getting late in the intermediate cycle. It hadn't done what it needed to do, and that you've got to quit listening to these people tell you that gold is going vertical and going to the moon, and you got to get in now. We're just not ready yet. Which, if you can take a longer term view, is a good thing because it's going to give you an opportunity to buy silver, physical silver, at much cheaper prices. But in the short term, the odds now are pretty high that this is an intermediate top. And we're 15 weeks into this intermediate cycle. This was the intermediate cycle low right here. We're 15 weeks into it. We're probably, almost certainly, we're in the declining phase of the intermediate cycle at this point. They usually, a normal cycle will last about 20 to 25 weeks. So we've probably got 5 to 10 more weeks to go before this bottom. So you don't need to be in a big hurry to try and pick a bottom. And I saw people trying to pick a bottom yesterday. And gold hadn't even broken the daily cycle trend line yet. A daily cycle low has to break that trend line. It does that 95% of the time. So trying to call a bottom before the trend line has been broken is, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be too early. Today, as we're seeing, we're getting followed through to the downside. I warned people, especially my subscribers, that any break back below this support zone here at 1835 was a big warning sign, and you probably just wanted to get out of metal trades at that point. So, assuming people listened to me, they stopped out up here. Anybody that got long silver down here on this false breakdown and has been holding silver, well then yesterday when gold broke through that 1835, they would have exited. So you made a little money, not a lot, but you made a little. The metals have just been a very, very difficult market to trade all year long, actually. And nobody in the challenges is making any money in metals. I trade a metal portfolio for the challenge where I restrict myself to only trading metals, and I've struggled to make any gains in that portfolio myself. And you can see why. From the beginning of the year till now, gold has gone nowhere. There's just been no trend. There was some good money made during this move, and I did make a really good money in that challenge, metals challenge portfolio during this run. The problem was I tried to get in expecting a daily cycle low right in here, so I did exit this top, and I was ready to get back in looking for a daily cycle low on the June FOMC meeting, but it was premature. And then we got that surprise talk about tapering, and that was a free pass to attack the metals. And so I entered a little too early, got caught in this decline, and then it just never came back. So I ended up giving back the gains I'd made during this run here, and we gave it every benefit of the doubt that we could. We held on until gold started down into this first daily cycle low, and that's when miners made a lower low, and finally at some point you just have to stop out, and so what has happened is it's just been, you know, next to impossible to make any sustainable gains in this market. It's just a choppy mess. And in the meantime, like I said, you're seeing all these analysts tell you that gold is going to the moon, and the reality is that the dollar is still rallying out of that 3-year cycle low. Gold was able to resist the dollar briefly, but now it's right back to doing what it normally does, and that is moving inversely to the dollar. And almost certainly at this point, gold has started an intermediate decline. So you just want to be on the sidelines probably for the next 5 to 10 weeks. Be patient and wait for some sign that the intermediate cycle has bottomed, and then once that occurs, then we can try again. But for right now, anybody that is listening to these analysts tell them that the metals are going to the moon, you got caught again by these people. This is how you get subscriptions. Gold bugs are very emotional, and they love it when people tell them that the gold and silver are going to the moon. And I'm going to tell you gold and silver is going to the moon too, except we need to finish this 8-year cycle decline first. So I'm going to try and inject a little sanity to the metals market and tell you that we're going to have to be patient for maybe even another year. But once that 8-year cycle low is in, then hell yes, we want to be long metals, and we want to be looking for $7,000 gold and $200 to $500 silver, but not yet. It's still too early. We got to finish that huge cup and handle consolidation. We're still in the handle. I don't think we're ready to break out yet. I'm pretty sure that we're moving down into that 8-year cycle low, which means that the handle probably still has another year to go. All right, so here's the big picture. Here's this massive cup consolidation pattern, and then we're in the handle right now, and I think it's probably just too early. The dollar is still rallying out of that 3-year cycle low, and so until the dollar rolls over, I think it's unlikely that gold is going to take off to the upside. So we've probably just got more to go. So I'm going to give you a realistic forecast of where gold is headed, rather than try and entice you with predictions of to the moon just to get you to subscribe to my newsletter. As I said, gold is going to the moon, but it's probably going to be another 6 months to a year before it's ready to do that. We got to finish this move down into the 8-year cycle low first.